Many of you have probably used Bricklink, or at least heard of it. It's one of the many marketplaces that LEGO fans actively use to buy, sell, and trade LEGO. With nearly 1 million active sellers in 200 different countries, the impact the site has had on all LEGO fans alike is immeasurable. I've always wondered about the origins of Bricklink, as it is the first major third-party LEGO e-commerce site to exist, being nearly akin to the success of online retailers such as eBay. Well, after countless hours of research, I've been able to piece together the surprisingly enigmatic story that led up to the rise of Bricklink, and it all starts with a man named Daniel Jezek. Daniel was born on June 25th, 1977, to his parents Jaroslav and Eliska in the capital city of Prague, Czech Republic. Daniel's mother held a doctorate degree in legal theory, while his father was a mathematician. At the time, the Czech Republic was enduring high political tension, so modern Western luxuries were out of the question, and finances were dire for the family. However, despite the limitations that the Jezek family and many other Czech families faced, Daniel's father was able to obtain permission from their local government to visit other countries under the condition that he'd be teaching mathematics at international campuses. Daniel was finally introduced to LEGO after his father had returned from an overseas trip with a Fire Station LEGO set. Almost immediately, Daniel became an avid builder of LEGO. It was not until the age of 9, however, that Daniel would also take an interest in computers, as his father had been able to obtain one of the earliest commercially available home computers while working overseas. The interest in both LEGO and programming would foreshadow Daniel's future success. In 1989, world events would lead to the fall of the Berlin Wall. What did this mean for the Jezek family? Well, they had the opportunity to move to Oahu, Hawaii, after Daniel's father was offered a position at the University of Hawaii. After several years, Daniel's father would return to their home country, yet Daniel and Eliska would stay. In fact, it had set the two into temporary financial instability, as his mother was not able to practice law in the United States, so she had resorted to working many minimum wage jobs in order to keep the family afloat in their newfound home in Hawaii. It was during this time that Daniel was able to live the life of a typical American teen, experiencing the full swing of high school and exploring diverging interests. In the year 1999, Daniel can be found working for the First Hawaiian Bank, later merged under the name Alltel. It was during this time that Daniel's knowledge of computer programming would be put into full swing, as it was a period of uncertainty. For those of you not old enough to remember or know what Y2K was, it was a rumor that computer systems would completely stop working because of a programming fault, which would interpret the year 2000 as 00. Well, with the gift of hindsight, it was safe to say that the year 2000 would begin without a hitch. And Y2K was just a silly rumor that would only cause minor issues at best. Although, unfortunately for Daniel, as the company changed hands, he would soon be let go from his position, thus sending him into a period of financial disarray. He eventually resorted to his surefire method of money-making, selling LEGO. Daniel had found a cache of LEGO at a garage sale years prior. It was not until then that he had found it was necessary to sort through the bulk lot and attempt to sell off as much as he could. At some point, he even sold off many of his own sets from his own childhood LEGO collection. He would conduct these transactions through eBay, a marketplace site that had only recently gained a name for itself. At the time, eBay was only 5 years old. It was barely an established marketplace, still competing with other contemporary e-commerce sites of the time. Daniel would later find the potential opportunity to work for an IT startup, but it wasn't very long until they turned him away in favor of another candidate. It was at this crucial time that Daniel would envision his future plan to create an online marketplace that was exclusively for LEGO. Daniel's LEGO marketplace would launch on June 19th, 2000, under the name BrickBay. BrickBay, at least at the beginning, had only one storefront, Daniel's. It was not long until the site had been converted into an online marketplace for other users to establish their own shops, as Daniel would take these requests from his customer base to heart. The site was so successful that had generated nearly $170,000 in sales during just the first half of the year, and went on to generate almost 5 times the amount of sales in the previous year, sitting at just under $900,000 in transactions. Daniel had struck gold with BrickBay, so much so that he would devote the next 10 years of his life to continuing to maintain and grow the site, adding a plethora of features that weren't available during the launch year of BrickBay. Daniel was best known for his simple pseudonym on the site, Admin, which featured his own minifigure with a black witch hat, yellow smiley, and blue tunic, similar to that of the classic LEGO character Magisto. Nobody outside of Daniel's social circle would actually know his true identity. He ran the message boards, kept up with the payment services, and overall was the sole maintainer of the site. He wore quite a lot of hats to keep BrickBay afloat. Speaking of BrickBay, the name of the site would later fall into dispute, as 2 years after the launch of the site, eBay would send a threatening letter to BrickBay demanding that they change the name of their site. The notice was quite ridiculous, as it alleged that the name of the site contained the word bay. However, this was actually in reference to the location that the Jezek family resided, which was Kailua Bay, Hawaii. In fear of backing into a needless lawsuit, Daniel and his family would sort through a list of names. After much deliberation, they settled on Bricklink. During the prime years of Bricklink, Daniel could be found as the sole owner, as he was devoted to the site every day of the week, nearly 24/7. Business was as usual for the next 10 years. Daniel would be making steady rising profits. The sellers and the buyers would also remain prosperous. However, after a great decade of progress for Bricklink, Daniel would pass away in a tragic accident on September 24th, 2010. Daniel's passing would put a great deal of stress on Bricklink, as Eliska and Larry would have to quickly take over where Daniel had left off. Maintaining a website like Bricklink would take a bountiful amount of time and dedication in order to keep things operating smoothly. Fortunately for the two, Daniel had left general administrative notes on how to process payments, schedule midnight maintenance, and even how to handle disputes. In 2013, Bricklink was acquired by Jae Kim, a South Korean businessman who is best known for his gaming startup Nexon. Kim would establish a team that could take over financially and maintain the site functionally, further easing the pressure off of Daniel's family to run a rapidly growing site alone. Although the site would change hands once more, in June of 2019, LEGO would officially acquire Bricklink. Daniel's passing was truly tragic. However, there was beauty to be found in the unfortunate and sudden circumstances. For one, hundreds of people would provide testimony to how hardworking Daniel was during his time as admin on Bricklink. He had truly cultivated a community where anyone could find that one brick they were missing, or maybe that one minifigure that they've been chasing, maybe even the whole sets that they've been looking for that have been long since retired. Over the years, many different LEGO artists have created tribute pieces in memoriam of Daniel, all equally as well thought out and just as impressive as the last. As AFOLs band together for collective appreciation of Bricklink and Daniel's efforts, many can seek comfort in the fact that his will and determination still amount to great success today, with the reputation that Bricklink has cemented upon the LEGO community as a whole.
We are in a dance room, we are in a dance office. This is the place where big part of Bricklink was created. I'm here in a dance chair. Here is a dance desk. Here is his laptop, his printer, staples, and many other things you can see. Dan worked so hard, so many hours, 18 hours a day, 7 days a week, for years. I found him many times here sleeping and being exhausted, sleeping over his laptop. And sometimes I put patches on his forearm. Actually, his skin was sometimes cut and broken for many hours leaning over the edges of this desk when he worked with his keyboards.